What do you think now when you see a pretty girl walking down the street? One side of me says, wow, what an attractive chick. I'd like to talk to her, date her. The other side of me says, I wonder how her head would look on a stick. Would look on a stick.
What are you doing?
What the hell is this, man?
Dude, I can see you.
A corporeal form?
I can.
Oh,
Why can I touch you?
bring me back to the disembodied voice, man.
Why can I touch me?
And why are we so goddamn ugly?
Dude, they didn't teach me this in radio school.
Welcome back to Head on Stick, your spot for spooky cinema. I'm your host, Jeffrey Scott.
I'm Aaron Radcliffe.
It's our 100th episode, spooktacular. Holy shit, there's a video. What's going on here? What the hell's happening?
Yeah, for some reason you were like, oh yeah, the two guys whose parents were like, yeah, children who's have faces for radio. You know, let's put them on video.
So my mom always told me I had a face for radio, a voice for silent film. I didn't smell very good either. Really, just a displeasure to the senses. That was her take.
Unfortunately,
most other women as well.
And unfortunately, the most handsome person involved with the making of this video is going to be off screen the entire time.
It's
because we hate all of you.
It is what it is, man. But yeah, 100 episodes of Head on a Stick. That's kind of fucking wild. Most podcasts make it to about 7, so this is something special.
This is not the 100th episode. This is just like an additional little fun thing.
Yeah, you know, like we don't have a lot of money. We don't have like, you know, a lot of artistic skills. I wanted to do like an opera, but that's like $3 million, and the funding's dried up because, you know, Trump took over the Kennedy Center.
You can tell because it looks like we're filming where they film like ISIS execution videos.
I mean, fitting for a horror movie podcast, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I made sure to represent. I got my Starship Troopers shirt. You just came from work like a normal person.
Yeah, this is like the equivalent of fancy to me. Like my work shirt is just this shirt with like one more button up. So like, you know, not showing off the man titties quite as much, but it is 95 degrees out, so you gotta let it breathe, man. It's horrible. It's just horrific.
Yeah, once we get to 200 episodes, or we get like our first actual earned dollar. I don't know.
We'll invest in puppets or something. I'll get a big old gold change to put around here. But yeah. So the idea here was we figured a Q&A would be kind of fun. Maybe people have some questions about the process, about our thoughts that they just don't get through the videos themselves. And what the hell, man? You know, Wired does it. You know, you got like fucking Justin Bieber doing the little rippy thingies. They had like Penguin ZO on there, man. Like, what the hell does he have to say about anything?
Yeah, I've been working a new job recently. And every time I go on break, I've just been like watching some random BS. And last night it was pretty heavy on the Jackass retrospectives. I now know about a very controversial tattoo that Steve-O has that no matter how much money you guys give us, I will not be getting.
You got a dick on his face. Is that it?
Nope.
Okay, I'll ask you later. But so yeah, questions. We do have a friend of the podcast, an occasional guest, and as Aaron did say, much more handsome fella, Jeffrey Boggess, helping us out here. I'm not sure if we're going to edit out his voice or not. We might just, if you're going to say them, do like a Vincent Price accent, Jeff. Think you can do that?
Yes.
Okay.
I was gonna say, you gotta do it like Binging with Babish style, where you have like the soft New York piano music going, and you're just like, all right, and now I have to edit the video around this because he started going on a tangent about this, and this is supposed to be 10 minutes, and he's been going for 35.
It's, dude, like, just don't bring up Israel. But okay. First question.
I'll make sure not to do that.
What you got, Boggess?
Why did you start a podcast?
Yeah, why?
I think it was kind of a joint idea. I might have been the one that proposed it, but we're both I think we both kind of wanted to for a long time. We just never bit the bullet, right?
I mean, I was into the idea. You definitely were the one who proposed it. Because we just like hung out and like talked about like horror movies and stuff a whole lot. But also I had experience, you know, doing audio stuff, doing podcast related stuff because I'd worked at the student radio station. I had done a couple of sports podcasts while I was there. So I think you were like, yeah, you know, we can kind of, you know, tap into that experience. And, you know, and again, you were just like, the subject matter was cool. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, this is something that's gonna like be over in like a month, and we're gonna move on, and it's whatever. And now here we are.
Oh, ye of little faith.
Yeah, now here we are, not only 100 episodes in on this, but we have like a secondary show.
Hits, yeah, man, the hits kept coming. But yeah, I really had two big reasons, I think. Well, I'll say three. Reason one was I was just a fan of podcasts. I liked the format. And I figured that we could probably be decent at it. There's one time me and Boggess were actually at a bar, and some random guy came up to us and just told us we should start a podcast because he liked listening to us. So, yeah, I figured, hell, just random drunk, and Boggess was busy, so I asked you. But no, it's all good. Yeah, that was part of it. I just like podcasts and stuff. I just listened to a podcast, which I'm not going to name it because I don't want to be mean, but it was based around Stephen King, and it was just ass. It was terrible, and it got like a lot of listens. I was kind of like, oh my God, we can do better than this, right?
I mean, everybody.
Sorry, what?
You tell this to everybody.
It's true. I mean, it's a shitty podcast. I was like, the bar to enter is low. I just figured we could probably be better than these guys were. And these guys were getting a lot of views. So clearly, maybe we could do something right. And then also, I just knew that I was probably going to be moving soon because I was really sick of Morgantown. And I kind of wanted a connective tie to some of the people back here. Just so that, like, we saw each other. Because, I mean, like, we probably wouldn't as much if we didn't have the podcast, right? Just life would get in the way.
Yeah, I mean, it is nice to also kind of have something like this to fall back on. Because when the station changed over, they I don't know what they did, but basically every single episode of every single thing I did basically just, like, went away into the ether, and so I can't get it. So it's like it never happened.
To be fair, it's like, 2014 college football scores are not exactly evergreen, but I get missing it. That would suck. I mean, you've made all the videos I made in high school on YouTube also got deleted. I think that's for the best because my sense of humor was basically South Park light, and yeah, that shit would get me canceled as fuck.
I know. It would have been like 2017.
Okay, 2017, my bad.
Why did you name your podcast Head on a Stick?
We just really love Wolf Creek. Just huge fans.
That's funny. That's what a lot of people have asked me, actually, because
I am actually a big fan of Wolf Creek.
It's not bad. It's a good movie, but it's not where it starts from. I had a production company for a while. I still kind of do. It's where I put my comics out. I have a couple of films under it that were all pretty much terrible because it's really hard to make a movie for $3,000. A lot of them actually did pretty well because they sold them like Walmart release packs and shit. But yeah, Head on Stick's been around since 2016 as a production company. It's just called Head on Stick Productions. And basically it's from quote from Ed Kemper that's misattributed to Ed Gein by Patrick Bateman. And I just thought it'd make for a cool logo, right? You just have a head, you jam a stick on it, call it a day.
Oh, God. We, I forget, Boggess would know more about this, but a few weeks ago, we all kind of hung out. We were just driving around downtown Morgantown. There was some, like, big, like, arts walk event or something happening. And we just rolled down the windows and we played the beginning of the Overlord episode. And it was already kind of funny seeing some people,
like the intro?
Yeah, hear the intro, but then immediately follow it up with that whole entire German bit.
Oh boy,
yeah, it was a whole thing.
Yeah, loud angry Germans. I mean, that's either synth music or just a Hitler speech. So you got to be careful there.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Tristan and to Boggess. They wanted me to make sure that everybody was well aware of the fact they were the first people to ever listen to the podcast at the top of Seneca Rocks. So they grace the mountains in ways that you probably never have.
I know for a fact they weren't the first person to listen to it while taking a shit, because I listened to our very first episode before I published it while taking a shit, so I have that honor.
I think theirs is a little more prestigious.
All right, third question.
I wonder how her head would look on a stick.
What is the scariest movie ever made?
You want to, or do you want me to?
I mean, I wrote answers down for some of these. You were all like, I'm going to be off the cuff
yeah,
with it.
Man, it's
I wrote stuff
whose
down.
line is it anyway? It's been around for like 30 fucking years. It's very successful.
So there's one that I've teased a few times, And you have talked to me a few times, and you're like, "Oh, hey man, if you really want to do an episode on it,
is it gonna be? It's not even gonna be a horror
guess
movie.
what
though.
it is? Guess.
Come and see.
It's come and
It's
see.
not a horror film, man.
It's terrifying though.
It's existentially distressing. I don't know if I'd call it scary.
Okay, so that's the thing. I struggle with that. So some of the things that I had, like Henry, that's like disturbing if you're disturbed. Me, I'm I'm afraid of spiders, so like I put like
Eight-legged freaks.
I put
Arachnophobia.
Well, yes, because arachnophobia is terrifying, but I also put infested because we did an episode on that.
Yeah.
And also, if you go with stuff, like if you're one of those people who's more like disturbed than, upset or scared or whatever, then, stuff like the sadness or whatever. And then I think I mentioned on our episode from back in April, our Pedro movie, that when I watched Parallel Mothers, when we all watched that in theaters, that terrified me to the core. And then I guess to hit on something even from this year, like Obsession kind of got me a little bit.
Okay.
Like the whole, the everybody's memed the kind of backwards walk, but like it really did get me. I literally went, yeah, in the theater.
No, I get where you're coming from, man, because it's like I'm more or less the same way in that there's not a lot that I would say spooks me, like jump scares and whatnot that can get you, but you watch a lot of horror movies and after a while you become a little bit numb to some of the more things that happen a lot, right? Like there's only so many fucking dogs that can bark or weird tennis balls that can go down the staircase and whatnot before you just kind of dismiss it. But for me, this one's Hereditary. It's kind of an easy answer, I think, in some ways, but full spoilers. We're going to recover at some point later this year. We're going to spoil it now. Child death, horrific grief, just the screams from Toni Collette are just agonizing. I remember the final scene where her decapitated body is getting summoned up into the treehouse, and you just see the fucking Naked Brothers guy just climbing up there. I was just like, don't go in that goddamn house. That movie scared the shit out of me when I saw it. I don't believe in demons, but I do believe in awful things happening for reasons beyond our understanding, and that's kind of what that movie's about. So Hereditary scared the fuck out of me. Going to be that one.
I thought it too. Well, they're not really movies, but they're trailers. But the trailer for Longlegs, too bad the movie sucked.
Trailer.
But the trailer,
yeah.
And this has been kind of an in joke amongst like the friends and also a few other people like outside of like the immediate like podcast friend group or whatever. But recently the trailer for Whalefall came out, and the idea of being
going to say the trailer for Whalefall is the scariest film ever made.
It's not, but
it's not in the top million, dude.
But I thought of here's my chance to shout out Whalefall, and the concept is being swallowed by a whale terrifying.
All right, question 4.
What is the worst horror movie you've ever seen?
I wish this was like a more fun answer, but it's just this terrible 80s slasher movie called Sledgehammer. It was on an episode of Joe Bob. They filmed it on VHS. The audio was fucked. The video was fucked. It was boring as hell. That was awful. If you can't even get like film stock, you're in pretty bad luck. At least back in the day. Nowadays, anyone can just film on their phone. But don't seek Sledgehammer out. We're not going to do an episode on it. It's just really bad. So, that's just the worst one I've seen.
All right, so Slender Man, horrendous.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Human Centipede 2, horrendous.
Pretty bad.
Hate Crime. If you watch that one found footage documentary that's on Shudder, it's mentioned in that. Horrendous. Hostel 3.
Real quick, that documentary, they literally just cannot find a single person that made a good found footage film. They just interviewed directors of Tubi direct to like DVD bullshit that were very pretentious for having made awful, awful stuff. So bad documentary as well as bad films.
Yeah. Hogzilla, to shout out another Joe Bob movie.
Not too good.
And then Don't Worry, Darling. Just like an insufferable movie to have sat through in the theaters.
Yeah, that one was really bad too. That was pretty terrible.
What is your favorite episode of the podcast?
Again, here's the thing. For redundancy's sake, I came up with several, but I noticed that the things I think we do best are when we have guests. Like, I think the best one where it was just you and I personally think might be Sinners. I was pretty happy with Sinners.
Sinners was good.
But like Grizzly Man, which we had with Grayson, was really funny, where you were trying to be so serious. You're like, this is really existential. And it was just an hour and a half of Grayson and I being like, damn, this dude's an idiot. He got eaten by a bear.
Look, man, you got to read some more of the Russian guys. They'll explain to you why the soul clamors for the bear's stomach. You know, you want to be eaten by the bear. You want to become the bear.
You want to be eaten by the whale.
It's okay.
Our episode on with Tristan on Cure was really good. The Scooby-Doo episode with both members of Hard Ticket. And then to shout out Boggess again. I don't know if it's our longest one or if Willy Wonka is the longest. I don't remember which is which. But that over 2-hour episode on Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was really good.
You know, I think they have different flavors. Like we have a handful that are more academic's too strong of a term for something like this, but are a little more serious.
Learning.
I would say for me, I really liked our one on I Saw the TV Glow, just because I think that's a really interesting movie, and I think we had a pretty nuanced take on it. But for me, it's Scooby-Doo. That was just fun as hell.
Scooby-Doo was a fun one. I almost mentioned that one.
Yeah, well, you did.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, I can't remember. Well, again, I came up with multiple answers just to be on the safe side.
And you wrote them down, too.
You're
complaining at me. I didn't write anything down. Okay, yeah. Scooby-Doo was entertaining, man. It was a good time. Okay. Next
History kink. Mr. Boggess, history kink.
All right, next question, man.
What is your most memorable experience watching a horror film?
For the sake of these ladies' privacy and my own privacy, and just so you don't have to hear about it, I'm not going to include any of the sexual escapades. Although there have been many. There have not. What would be mine? Honestly, I think for me, I went to go see *Malignant* back in 2021. I love that movie. It's not perfect, but I really enjoyed it. But it was like class got canceled in like September, and it was just like literally 12 o'clock on a Friday. And I remember just walking out at 12 o'clock on a Friday and just thinking, holy shit, I got to see that in theaters. This on a random afternoon in Morgantown. And then the other one is the little indie theater that's in Fairmont, West Virginia that couldn't get new movies during COVID. They started getting just crazy stuff. And they got Possessor Uncut, the Brandon Cronenberg film. And I don't know if the guy who owned the theater understood what that was, but that shit playing in rural West Virginia was a trip and a half too. So really, I guess it's just a juxtaposition between the movie itself and wherever I was seeing it. That can be pretty fun.
No, those sound pretty cool. No, so I have 3. I actually initially had like 1, and then 2 of them came to my mind while you were talking. And it's funny, they all involve you in some capacity.
Oh, God.
You are not the underlying factor here. But
I have been called memorable before, not always in a good context.
But the first one, option number A, is we went up to Pittsburgh, or just outside of Pittsburgh, and we saw the uncut one night only showing of the house that Jack built.
In a snowstorm, yeah.
Which was cool. The second one, I believe you were there with me. I'm like 95% certain you were there with me. I don't remember what the name of the movie was, but it was some like really bad movie about like one of those overnight nurses who's like dealing with like a possessed ghost or whatever. And people in the audience just started laughing at it. It was so bad. And it reached the point where I
think we started it actually, which is rude normally, but it was a pretty bad film.
We did get shushed. We did get shushed.
Yeah, fuck them.
But it was an audience of like 18, and 4 of them were not cracking jokes.
Yeah.
Or laughing.
I don't think we're even like loudly like making fun of it. We're just laughing because it looks so goddamn stupid.
It started out that way, and then somebody else shouted a joke, and somebody else shouted. And then we shouted a joke. We were the assholes that night.
I don't remember the name of that either. I remember.
I have to look it up. It's
skinny like contortionist lady crawling around on the ceiling.
If you, I'm not gonna bother looking it up. If Boggess wants to put out the legwork to look it up, he can. But I just remember there's a scene with like a little toy ball in the girls' bathroom.
Just also
my third one was we got into a car accident on our way to see Annihilation, filled out the police report, went to Denny's, and then just saw later showtime.
I remember asking you. I was like, "Hey man, you still want to see it?" And you're pretty pissed off. You're like, "Yeah, I guess."
That motherfucker ran.
I don't blame you, but I just thought it was funny.
Never got the dash cam footage, by the way. Apparently, it was just this happened. This, by the way, I want to point this out for those of you who have not been to Morgantown. There's like this little hill. It's a weed dispensary now, but it used to be a Texas Roadhouse. But anyway, traffic was really bad one of these days, and this dude just slammed on his brakes, and I ran into the back of him. But this dude took off and ran, and we stopped to pull over. But this happened literally in front of, but apparently
I know
just
you guys are thinking.
Behind.
I was not giving him roadhead, nothing like that.
Just because he's in the majority of my Instagram pictures does not mean no. We're just homies. Oh, that may have made it worse. No, but like apparently this was in front of, but the cop, but not in front of the dash cam. So even though the cop took off to chase the person down, never got his information and everything. So I was
think
mad.
That cop just didn't want to go to court.
Maybe, but then I was like, man, my car is messed up.
All right, good choices. What we got, man? Next question.
What are certain taboos of horror/film? And are there certain things that turn you off?
More like turn me on.
Oh boy, God, that's not gonna make my answer look good. What's yours, man?
So, I mean, you see obviously less of it in horror, but it is one of those things that it's still kind of a surprise a little bit when it happens. But it's death of children.
Not a fan of it.
I mean, I don't care. I'm cool with it, but I mean, just kind of like as a general taboo that people have, death of children is kind of like one of the big ones. For me, it is very hard for me to keep my composure if someone's like puking.
Yeah,
like I can handle a lot of the bodily stuff, but like if someone's puking or like, you know, I like I can handle like Art the Clown, like cutting some dude up through the balls with a chainsaw, but like
vasectomy.
But like I was rewatching clips before I saw the new Jackass. And seeing the other guy whose name is also Aaron, but not spelled the same. His is spelled cooler than mine.
Lady Aaron, normally.
EHREN.
Yeah.
But like anyway, getting a pogo stick jumped on his sack, that I'm like, no, I can't do.
So no balls and no vomit.
Mostly, yeah.
Okay, so mine is probably going to be. I don't think that sexualized violence has no place in films. You can't tell stories with that. But it can't be titillating. That's fucked up. Like, whenever you have, like, a rape scene and the director seems like he's drooling behind the camera, not for me. And that's unfortunately a pretty big trope in a lot of older exploitation films. There's a whole genre called women in prison. There's a whole genre called nunsploitation. Nasty stuff. Not my cup of tea.
I think we've briefly touched on it in
Cannibal Holocaust a little.
In Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah,
well, in Cannibal Holocaust. But I think in some of the new French Extreme episodes, but like,
well, those weren't really titillating.
Well, no, but I think there was one episode specifically where like I made a joke about, you know, like what's the difference between, you know, something like Cannibal Holocaust or like the scene in Irreversible versus like something else. And I think it was our episode of Martyrs that I made that joke towards the end, but you gave a pretty good answer.
As I am wont to do.
Kind of pertaining more to that subject.
Yeah, if you want to hear it.
This is just a shameless plug to listen to the episode. And if it's not that one, I'll listen to them all. You'll eventually find it.
There's 100. That's a lot of looking around. But, all right, next question.
What movie have you wanted to cover most that you haven't gotten to yet?
I'm not going to include any that are on our schedule because I think that's kind of cheating because we're going to cover them. But for me, it'd be The Holy Mountain by Alejandro Jodorowsky. And I don't think we're going to because it's like too nonlinear. It's too out there and weird. The story itself is very unstructured for large parts. But if you haven't seen it, watch that shit tomorrow. Like, it's got a guy who's supposed to be playing a Christ figure that looks like George Harrison that takes his shit into a jar and turns it into gold with alchemy. It's amazing. I love The Holy Mountain, but I just don't see how we can cover it. It just wouldn't be good.
No, that's fair. We originally were going to do that for an episode upcoming, but you switched it out to
I mean, else. I just had to make a bit of an executive decision.
Switched it out to Greasy Strangler, and then you're like, actually, let's make that something else. So that was our episode 99. So go check that out if you haven't listened to it yet.
Differing opinions on that.
Yeah, shout out Grayson for being on that one. But I don't remember what we have in place, if anything, now for your upcoming birthday episode.
I have a couple of ideas, but we'll see.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be nice to do something from the Godzilla franchise, but we
got one on the schedule.
We do. I don't think we have a date for it yet, but
we do.
Let me make my point first. Damn, mother. But Starship Troopers, it will be nice to eventually. You brought that one up. I was looking for a time and place to eventually broach that idea, but I don't know if we have a date for that one.
You're wearing your Starship Troopers shirt, right?
Yeah, exactly. My Clendathy shirt. Would you like to know more? I Saw the Devil would be a cool one.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
But like I originally was gonna propose it for this recent spat that we had, but we were gonna we had Old Boy, we had like Martyrs, we had all this other.
I Saw the Devil also. It's really good, but it is thematically similar to something like Henry. So like
I was like, we need space. This is
a bit of a sidebar, real quick. We try to. I mean, hopefully you guys notice this. We try to like do movies that vary a lot in tone and quality and decade, just because you don't want to see the same shit over and over, right?
Yeah, no, that's fair. And then the last one is more just kind of, I don't know, because I feel like you'd kind of be a little mad about doing that, and that's Truth or Dare.
Okay.
Having to watch through that again.
So the context of Truth or Dare, really quickly, we might have said this on a podcast at one point, probably, but this is back before I had a car, and I took the bus out to see it. And it was god awful. And then I realized I missed the bus again. And I was going to have to wait like 2 hours for the fucking bus. And I hit up Air and I was like, dude, can you come pick me up? And can we just like do something? And he's like, sure, but you got to sit through Truth or Dare again with me. So I saw that movie like back to back, which I've only ever done that with like Fury Road. Much better film than Truth or Dare.
Yeah, here's
hard
the
regrets.
Thing. I don't remember the episodes, but I complained about the fact that like I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I wasn't really a fan of, back to back days. I complained about seeing A Star Is Born 3 times over the course of a weekend.
Well, you weren't literally stranded until like a bus came around.
Exactly. I was not held captive to watch something on repeat. The closest thing I had to do, though, was I did watch in 30-minute intervals over the course of 3 days 7 times, 6 times. I don't remember how many class periods we had. I had to watch Boy in the Striped Pajamas. I basically watched it the equivalent of like 45 times.
I was a substitute teacher a long time too. Yeah, that can be a lot.
Yeah.
Who would you meet if you could meet one director or one actor from a horror movie?
I'm going to assume this means living, right? Because like if they're dead, it's not going to be much of a meet and greet. Like it'd be fun to meet Romero as a zombie.
Karloff, nice to meet you.
I'm really not like a huge meet celebrity people for the most part, but you got any?
How humble. No, I do have a pairing. I know this is kind of the generic answer for an actor, but I like him a lot. And friend of the show, at the very least, Grayson can attest to what it's like to meet him. But Bruce Campbell, I think it'd be really fun to meet Bruce. He's got some fun stuff. I think it'd be fun to be able to.
You could bring your walnuts and have him crack them with his chin.
Yeah, just have a bunch of chill time fun with him. And then as far as a director, I personally have a big soft spot for Julia DeCarnau. Ignore the fact that I still haven't actually watched Alpha yet. But I do think it would be cool to actually be able to sit down and kind of hear her thoughts, because I am a 31-year-old white man from West Virginia in the United States, and she herself is like, I think in her like early 40s, but she's a white French woman, and all of her movies deal with just kind of feminine coming of age body horror. And it would just be interesting and I think enlightening from kind of like my perspective to kind of hear her talking about these inspirations and kind of what drives her either writing or directing style, and then even just some of the body horror choices she makes, both in her features and in her shorts.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I love Julia. Love you.
Yeah, I would go with Kurt Russell. I think that'd be cool. Snake Plissken, The Thing. I hope that he's a decent guy. I've met a handful of celebrities. For the most part, they're just kind of people, you know, so. Hopefully he's nice. Hopefully he's not. I don't know.
God to you.
Well, a lot of people really do worship these motherfuckers, man. I mean, they're like going out there and stealing like Justin Bieber's like gum and stuff and selling it on eBay. That's not rational behavior. That's not good. But I think director-wise it'd be Ari Aster, a guy who did Hereditary, and part of that's because I like his movies. But also, like, he's just got a really dry sense of humor, and he seems like he'd be a good hang. He's like buddies with Bill Hader. He just seems like he'd be a fun guy to just hang out with for a while and just pick his brain. It's like, why'd you make your dad a giant cock monster, Ari? You know, what'd you do that for?
Are you willing to do a video on a specific era/trend in horror, like Twilight/vampires or Walking Dead/zombies?
I mean, me personally, I'm pretty against it just because it's just really not what we do. I mean, like, I don't mind like looking into stuff, but this is not like a broad historical show where we cover a bunch of trends or a bunch of films at once. That'd mean we'd have to go and do like research and shit.
I think if there was an instance where we had like a specialty thing where we're like doing this, or we had like a one-off theme month, I think you know, because there is some interesting stuff to talk about. I think the best case scenario though for just kind of the way that this show operates is, you know, like whenever we talk about the new French Extreme, like it would be cool to do an episode on that, but you know, most of the time, you know, in the episodes that we've done, it's, you know, just kind of a handful of minutes.
Yeah, we try to kind of slip nuggets in.
Not, that's not to say we couldn't cover Twilight. It's not to say we couldn't cover, I don't know.
If you guys want to hear the sad stories of my attempts to get the pretty girls at Bible camp that all read Twilight to talk to me by reading it myself, I guess we could do an episode on it.
Even if you want to do like a specialty one where you're like the first season of The Walking Dead, because it's like 6 episodes. Something like that. But I think like an episode specifically dedicated.
Don't ask me to watch 6 hours of some shit for one episode.
I'm not saying we're going to. I'm just saying you're more likely to get something like that.
What keeps us coming back to horror, even though the genre is constantly denied prestige status?
I think I got mine. You got yours, or?
Yeah, it's scary. It's spooky, bro.
Ooh.
It's got people who eat people. It's got people who stab people. It's got people who possess people. It's got people who go crazy by themselves.
All those things do, in fact, occasionally happen.
It's got things that do things to people. It's spooky. It's fun. It touches into those it's similar to like raunchy comedies. It touches into some of those taboo things, and it makes you able to experience it in a comfortable and controlled setting and get that kind of discomfort or those thrills. So even if like a movie's bad, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna check it out because like, I don't know, maybe it'll make me laugh if nothing else.
Yeah, no, that's a good answer. This is kind of a bit of a two-parter as well, I suppose, but I would say that it does tap into kind of like this primal emotion. Like people desire fear, but they want it in a controlled way, right? Like, if you wanted to be more scared than any movie will ever make you, just go rub some steaks on you and jump in a lion pit, right? Mm-hmm. Like, there's ways you can get way more fucking scared than going to the movies, but that's a little more dangerous. So, the other one, too, I think, is that horror does very well in theaters because it is probably the genre that is the most communal, right? Like, seeing it with an audience, kind of feeling that collective sort of gasp when something crazy happens, that's a really nice thing that you're not necessarily going to get from a drama. If you're going to a rom-com alone, that's just sad. I've done it a lot. It is very sad. I am the sad man there. Even comedies, which I agree with you by and large, I do think that people don't necessarily always feel the need to watch that with a bunch of other folks like people do horror movies. Like, and that's why stuff like Obsession and Backrooms are making hundreds of millions of dollars still, where a lot of comedies are kind of, you know, falling flat on their face even. Like Jonah Hill had a shitty raunchy comedy that they're just not going to release because they said it was so goddamn bad, which Jonah Hill's not a very nice person, so I was pretty laughing at that. But communal experience plus primal fear you can tap into. 1-2.
No, it's nice that because I was gonna mention Obsession. You know, that's one of those movies is like It was made for like what $750,000.
Not much.
And now it's like one of the highest grossing horror movies ever domestically.
Yeah, it's done well.
You get a lot, yeah. So like studios get a lot of return on investment because people keep going, but also they get those kind of like, especially if they're done well, they get those controlled scares, they get those controlled kind of like judgments. I was gonna say, especially because another movie that's in theaters right now, at least at the time that we're recording, probably by the time that this comes out, is like there's that new Jackass movie. Now when I saw it, I don't know about when you saw it. It was just me, and then there was like another couple in the back of the theater. But so not a good example necessarily for this one because it's like a clip show. But like when we saw Jackass Forever together, that was like a pretty full theater. That was like a really fun, memorable experience. It was the first Jackass I ever saw in theaters, and so it's one of those movies where some people are going to be very snobbish when you're like, Steve-O's crapping himself. Johnny Knoxville's getting hit by a bull. Oh, look, Chris Pontius's penis is bouncing up and down across the screen. It's like, who cares? And then it goes and makes like $150 million. It's like, well, I mean, there's people who care. They want to see that. They want to experience that. Like, I drug you skydiving with me. I don't know.
Drug you me my ass. I'm the one who wanted to do it.
I brought the idea up to you.
It was like mutual at most. I definitely was totally wanting to do it. I
brought the idea up to you.
Well, I specifically wanted to go skydiving because I'd never been on a plane before, and I was going to be on a plane the month after. I wanted to skydive as my first plane experience.
So I brought the idea up to you. You were like, all right. You're like, okay, yeah. And you're like, oh, fuck. I brought this idea up, and I shouldn't have done that.
Oh, yeah. I was really excited for it. It was,
yeah. And so it just got like brought up. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, well, it's now something that I always kind of wanted to experience, but now I have to. And you would like never experience in general because of flying. But there are people out there whose experiences are only ever going to be like just watching.
Vicarious, yeah.
Yeah, like watching those videos of those dudes like jumping out over the pyramids.
I mean, I've never shoved like a Hot Wheels car at my ass, but I've seen someone do it in Jackass. So, it's some things are best left in the celluloid, I think. But
there's some
next question.
There's some stuff in that's just as horrifying as horror movies.
I can agree.
What is your biggest horror movie blind spot?
Yeah, this was a hard one because I don't like to be this guy. I've just seen a lot of shit, and that's not because I'm better than you. It's because I don't have productive things in my life, nor people to spend time with. So it's all right. Things have gotten better, but definitely as like a teenager, early college, this is like really what I did. Is I pretty much just hook, line, and sinkered into horror and films more generally, books, all kinds of shit, right? Anything to escape like the terrifying prospect of being 22 years old and kind of a dweeb. But that didn't answer the question even slightly, did it? I've only ever seen the first Hellraiser film. I never saw Hellraiser 2 or on. So I guess Hellraiser?
Yeah, that's like the big franchise I haven't seen a whole lot of. There's a couple that I have, not as much as like regular movies and stuff like that. But I mean like Silence of the Lambs. I actually haven't seen that.
Bruh.
Yeah, I know. I haven't seen the Godfather trilogy either. Quite On. That's like kind of one of the other big like
Japanese one. That one's great. Yeah.
And then I'd say like kind of the two big things if you ask kind of like either like big horror fans or kind of just like popular, it's big populations would be Mulholland Drive / anything Twin Peaks related.
Yeah.
And then Slither.
Ooh, Slither is. We should do that on the podcast. I didn't know you hadn't seen it. That'd be a cool one.
I would say those are the big.
Mulholland Drive would make me pull my hair out trying to record that, but Slither would be fun. Yeah, that's cool.
Any other spin-off series ideas?
You're the freak with the ideas, not me. I just follow along.
Don't say it like that. You got a very nice brain.
He drags me everywhere.
The biggest brain.
He does everything. He does everything.
I have the most smooth brain. Very smooth. It's like an egg. I can't do the hands for the Trump thing because I'm holding the mic. But
he's beating Morse code out of me. I don't remember how to do it with my eyes.
Yeah, there actually absolutely is another podcast I would do if I had the time and inclination. We're already doing 2, and it's not like we're paying the bills with this stuff. So you only have so much time in life. That's what it comes down to. But it'd be on the Criterion Collection. I think it'd be really cool to do a podcast where every week we watch a different Criterion film. Humongous variety there. One of my favorite films of all time is Rainer Fassbinder, Ali, Fear Eats the Soul. Just 1970s. I think it was West Germany. Which was the communist one?
East.
Okay. Whatever works. Okay, it's the communist Germany, but that's such a good movie.
I have a master's degree in high school history education.
Social
studies.
It happens, man. But yeah. The Criterion ones would be fun. I guess I should say what the Criterion is if you don't know. It's basically bougie. Is that the term?
I guess.
Yeah, it's a bougie like DVD service where they cover a lot of art house films like Kurosawa, Bergman, Fellini, shit like that.
Armageddon.
Yeah, somehow Armageddon got in there, and RoboCop. But yeah, I think that'd be really cool, and I'd like to be able to talk about a lot more thematically rich, interesting films. But realistically, there's only so much time. I'm going to be dead sooner rather than later in regards to like the general human populace. I'm just guessing. I mean, this is, that's not good for the old cardiovascular system. So I don't know. Be Criterion if we could do it.
Look, man, if we were making enough money that we could survive and I could pay all my bills,
enough money, any money.
Look,
if we weren't paying money,
no, I would need to be making enough money that I could like live comfortably and pay my bills. Don't have to be rich, but be able to like dedicate my time and whatnot to doing this. And even then, 2 is already kind of a lot.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, you get sick of your own fucking voice, man. I think other people do as well. One every week, one bi-weekly. That to me is enough.
Like the closest thing I ever got was when I was in high school, or not high school. When I was in that's how old I am. I'm getting the two mixed up. When I was an undergrad, when I was at the radio station.
You weren't getting the college girls and the high school girls mixed up, were you?
No.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
No, when I was at the radio station, it reached a point where I was hosting / producing a college football podcast and an NFL podcast on top of doing my schoolwork and doing like other radio work and watching games Sunday for the NFL, Monday night for the NFL, Tuesday night for college football, Thursday night for NFL / college football / recording an episode in college football on Friday, college football on Saturday, and then as the season got later, more NFL. And you know how much I got paid? Nothing, because it was all volunteer work. Like I said earlier, I don't even have the audio
paid
files.
Experience.
Yeah, I don't have. Yeah, that's the only reason why you're able to hear this show, is because of all that.
The complexities of hooking up a mic and going la 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 until your levels are right.
Yeah, the best I got was a butterfly effect, which is still unpaid. An unpaid butterfly effect. That fucking sucks, dude.
What a world. Next question.
Do you have any recommendations on recent slashers and or scariest movies of the last few years?
So
yeah, I condensed that question down because they were like, look, I really like slashers, but it feels like I'm not getting a whole lot of like really good ones. Are there any ones I should check out? Also, what are just some like really scary movies in general that recently came out?
I got 3 probably. I'll give you one that's a slasher that wasn't like perfect, but is still really good. In A Violent Nature, that was a pretty good movie. It had a lot of slow bits, but the kills were like insane, and I think conceptually it was very well done. It's all from the POV of the killer. You'll enjoy it if you like slasher movies. Far as scary, I was just trying to think, just what movie kind of ruined at least the hour after I watched it, and that's going to be Where Evil Lurks, which is an Argentinian film, right? Argentina?
Argentine.
Okay, whatever. It's from Argentina. Yeah. That's very dark. Child deaths, very disgusting special effects. Quite well done. And then I'd also say The Sadness, which I actually don't really recommend because that's just a vile, nasty son of a gun of a film. Really over the top in ways that are just more unpleasant than like alluring. But if you want to like just really test your metal, go. It's out there.
No, so it's funny that you mentioned When Evil Lurks, because that's one of the intense ones that I was gonna mention.
Yeah, and it feels earned, whereas the sadness just felt like it was trying to like just show off almost, you know?
The sadness was one I thought about, but like I didn't mention because I figured, you know, like maybe it would come up at some point in this episode during something.
Wait, two depressed white guys talking about sadness? Or two depressed white guys with a podcast?
I don't want to watch my Asian girlfriend be chased across the city by the murderous men. I get the sadness. I don't know. Anyway, for slashers, the Candyman remake, I actually really liked that.
Was cool, yeah.
I liked that, and, you know, it'll be interesting to see when because I was actually thinking about it the other day, because this is coming out, you know, when we're recording it, it's like the last day of June. This is going to be coming out middle of July, so we're like at the half point of the year, and we
might be dead by then. It could happen.
It could happen. You never know.
Dreams do come true. It can happen to you.
A boy can hope.
West Virginia lottery. All right, sorry.
No, but like, you know, we talked a couple weeks ago about like, you know, what we thought the best movies of the year might potentially end up being as far as like, you know, our eventual, you know, top 10 list and everything. And we mentioned, or at least I mentioned, Obsession, and you said you liked it but weren't as high on it as 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Which was directed by Nia DaCosta, who did the Candyman remake. So
yeah, she's talented.
Produced by Jordan Peele, I believe.
The Candyman one was Monkey Paw, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so it was Peele.
Yeah, that was a good one. The Invisible Man remake, that was a good one.
Was that a slasher film? It was a good movie. Yeah.
So a couple of these might be stretching it. Thanksgiving, we did an episode on that one.
It was okay.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Freaky, if you're looking for a horror comedy.
That was good too. That was entertaining. A lot of these are pretty meta now. Even Thanksgiving has like a meta quality to it. Yeah. It's hard to make like a genuine slasher film that's just following all the tropes and whatnot and not kind of comment on them, and that's good.
That was my problem. I found a lot of them, but I was like, a lot of these are just kind of mid.
Because it's just some fucking guy that watched Friday the 13th 20 times, got $600 and decided he could make a movie, which is doesn't tend to be the case most of the time. Sorry, indie guys out there. I love you when you're decent,
I guess. And then just a couple intense ones. You already mentioned When Evil Lurks. Mads, that's a good one. MADS, that's a French zombie movie that's done in like a one shot, quote unquote.
Well, therein lies my blind spot. I haven't seen that.
Which is kind of it's all right. It's decent. Mad God, that's done by
Jurassic Park, dude.
Yeah, Phil Tippett. Jurassic Park. Starship Troopers, VFX. And then there's
real quick, Mad Gods, you gotta like lead a little more. It's all claymation from hell.
Yeah, just like
Wallace and Gromit. If the guy was a perverted sadist that made it,
if he had to go through like, I don't know, Cleveland.
Cleveland's not that bad.
It's it's
Akron's worse than Cleveland.
Yeah, no wonder LeBron got out of high school. No, and then another foreign movie, The Medium. It's got some. It's okay. It's an all right movie, but like that last bit's got some like really freaky stuff. If you're looking for something to kind of expand your kind of foreign palette, because it's a Thai movie, you know, it's got a lot of supernatural stuff. It's got a lot of that like old timey religion. It's got some pretty intense stuff. And then
expand your foreign palette with Thailand. You got to be careful when you say that.
Yeah, and then everyone knows Terrifier.
Oh fuck, man! Terrifier is amazing, but I didn't mention it because, like, I mean, look, if you're watching horror movies and you're asking about slasher films,
I stuck within,
and you haven't seen Terrifier 2 or 3 yet, what are you doing, man?
Yeah,
come on.
I stuck within from like 2020 to now, so that's why there's no like Bone Tomahawk and stuff like that. Which
that's
would have
like
been standard answers.
How old is Bone Tomahawk? 10 years? 2016? Something like that.
Something like that.
All right, next question.
Are you willing to cover the VHS series for an episode?
So this is one
I don't really want to, but I guess I would if
you don't really want to. This is one I brought up to you, and I explained to this. Shout out to loyal listener of the show, and friend of the show, Jake, who sent in this question. He's listened to like every episode, like him and his wife, Crystal.
We should probably cover it then, I guess. That seems like a fair thing.
Well, I told him in advance, like, there's like so many movies. We can't, unless we did something where it was like, we did like 2 specific like segments, or we did like a countdown of like we both presented our 5 favorite, because there's like 7 movies.
Well, is he asking for us to do the whole series?
Well, that's what I said.
Jake, don't get greedy, brother.
Because that's what I said. What do you mean when you say a movie on VHS? And he said, however you guys want to do it. If you want to focus on one movie, if you want to focus on 2 segments, if you want to do a countdown, if you want to do a video that talks about the entire, or an episode that talks about the entire series vaguely. He's like, I don't care how. I just really love them.
So I definitely haven't seen every VHS film.
I've missed the last 2.
From my recollection, the best one was probably the second one of the ones I've seen. I think that's the one with the big ritual where all the suicide cultists, right? And it's also got the one where the guy gets bitten by a zombie and he becomes a zombie with like a camera on his bike helmet. And those were cool. So VHS 2, yeah, I'm not against it. A whole series though, that's a lot, my friend.
Yeah, like obviously like doing one on like the entire series would be much. I think like if we had to pick like one movie, it would either be 2 or like maybe one of the ones from a couple of years ago. I'd have to remember off the top of my head. It is fun.
Well,
if we were to do
real
segments.
quick with VHS, like it was only a movie every couple years until Shudder got the franchise. Right now, it's like one every year or something. There's like 8 of them or something. There's a lot.
There was like 3, then it took a break. Then there was like another 3, then it took like a year, and then there's been like 2 more.
Yeah, it's
But yeah, it's
expansive.
Funny. Yeah, like if I was to like come up with like favorite segments, like Timo Tejato's got like 2 of them, which is hilarious to me. There's like the vampire one, that's cool. You know, there's like the Hail Ratma. There's like all like there's interesting ones, but yeah, it would have to be something where we either like do a countdown or we do like one specific movie or something.
Yeah, I would agree.
You know, it's why we did a movie on Final Fantasy, or not Final Fantasy. Jesus Christ.
Look how big my sword is.
Oh my God.
It's all right.
Weebs. I can hear them in the distance. No, on Final Destination 3.
The thundering clap of unwashed ass cheeks as they all rush towards us.
What do you know about Angus Cloud? Wait, that's an actor. That's the guy from Euphoria. What? Shit.
Brother.
I'm messing up. I have too many references in my brain. You can't cut any of this, Boggess. No, it's why we did an episode solely on Final Destination 3, not the entire Final Destination franchise.
I kind of wish we had waited and just done Bloodlines, because that was easily the best one.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a soft spot for 2.
2's okay, but 5 was, or not 5, sorry. Well, 5 was pretty good. Whatever. Next question.
What are your favorite and least favorite horror subgenres?
Favorite's kind of tricky just because I like a lot of different movies for different reasons. But I'm always down for a good body horror film, which is pretty broad. That can be anything from a person transforming into a monster versus just something like Possessor, where I would call that a body horror film because it's got a lot of mutilation of the body. I would call something like Saw a body horror film, even to an extent, right? I mean, do you think it fits?
Definitely extreme plastic surgery.
But yeah, body horror is great. Cronenberg's one of my favorite directors. Anytime you have a movie where it's just someone's kind of physicality turning against them, melting or getting chopped off, or have to do impromptu brain surgery on yourself, whatever the hell it is, I love body horror. Do you want to do your favorite and I'll do my least favorite?
In terms of like which I like versus like likelihood to watch it, New French Extreme, even though I'm not likely to watch it a ton, it is my favorite one. And
They're amazing.
Yeah, I do really like them. I have a soft spot for at number 2, I have a soft spot for found footage, even though a lot of found footage isn't actually good. And that's also the same thing that I feel about number 3, which is zombies. I don't know. I was a teenager during to reference the trends and everything. I was a teenager during the Walking Dead and the zombie era, so like I'm primed anytime there's zombies. Same thing with sharks. If there's anything with those, I'm primed and ready to go.
Yeah, zombies and sharks are cool. Good picks.
Screen life sucks though. I like found footage, but screen life sucks.
Most found footage films suck. Probably the vast majority.
I can tolerate mockumentaries, but stuff like Unfriended sucks.
Yeah, that was. I saw like the Jihadist Unfriended a couple years ago about the lady who's getting like converted by the terrorist network. Yeah, that was awful. I remember I was really pissed off because I had a coupon that was expiring that day to a smoothie place, and the movie ran so long I didn't get to use my coupon, and I was very upset. But
it's bad enough the movie sucks, but then she backs out. I don't know if that's actually what happened. I didn't see it.
What backs out?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I was joking about being upset that she didn't
become
up.
a jihadist.
Yes.
Oh,
I sat through all of this and we didn't even get that.
I was mostly concerned about the smoothie at that point, but my least favorite is probably, and this is a little odd because there are films in this genre I like. You could say Last House on the Left is part of this. You could say Day of the Woman is part of this. Rape Revenge when it's done poorly. Because it kind of goes into that taboo that I was talking about earlier, where a lot of these films seem like they are filmed by guys who wanted to get some naked bodies on camera, and they did it in a way that is very disgusting. Day of the Woman is a pretty controversial film. I Spit on Your Grave is the other name for that. You seen I Spit on Your Grave or Day of the Woman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured.
I forgot about the name change though, but
yeah, I don't know which it's referred to in America. The version I have is Day, but whatever, doesn't matter. When it's well done, it can be fine. We're going to cover Straw Dogs at some point, which isn't even strictly a horror film, but I just want to get Peck and Paw on the podcast. But when it's done badly, it's the worst shit ever. It really is. I mean, it's just awful, and it's really not something that I would be very comfortable being in an audience with, or even really being around people that are like getting too into it. Just not for me.
Jeff's answer. Oh, the exploitation and the degradation and the beat down of women and being around people who revel in such things, these terrible, awful things. My answer, Omegle.
Do you have any thoughts on Wrong Turn and the Appalachian stereotypes represented in that series?
Yeah, this was asked by someone who clearly did not listen to our Wrong Turn episode.
Yeah, we've talked about it a little. I mean, it can't hurt to rehash it a bit.
I get that you have a child, but it came out last year.
Yeah, just
I'm calling you out. You know who you are.
Don't listen to this podcast around your kids. Not a good idea. But I think I talked about this on the podcast we did for Wrong Turn. Probably maybe not length, but enough that I'm not going to go on and on forever here. I would say that if it's a product of its time, it doesn't bother me as much as you might imagine. Like, Wrong Turn's like 20 years old. Is it not very nice towards the Appalachians? Probably not. But like, I mean, what am I going to do? The sensibilities were a little different back then. I don't think that it's good though. And if you're not careful, it can kind of fall into these stereotypes, and that's not great either. I do also think sometimes people get a little bit too crazy about it. Like, you're much more of a, not even much more, like, cause I'm just not this person. You're like a film Twitter guy, and you see a lot of these fucking angry activist idiots. Mm-hmm. And like, I remember, I think it was you telling me about this. It could have been someone else, but they're talking about how they saw people complaining about Aunt Gladys and weapons because it was like a hagography, and it was like, you can't portray an old woman as evil. That's mean towards the elderly. I'm just like, get the fuck out of here. Witches are old ladies. They are. Sorry. I'm not saying every old lady's a witch. Just like I'm not saying every Appalachian eats people. You know what I mean? Like, it just, you gotta have some nuance in your life. It's, end of the day, it's celluloid, right? It's not going to come out of the screen and punch you. It's not to say stereotypes can't be propagated. I'm no Triumph of the Will fan. I have not seen that 3-hour-long KKK movie that Forrester did. I'm forgetting the name of.
Birth of a Nation.
Birth of a Nation. I'm not seeing that. But look, if someone honest to God watched Wrong Turn and they're just like, oh my God, I guess West Virginia just is full of, I don't want to make them sound like they're from West Virginia, but I'll continue it. I bet West Virginia is full of cannibals. I mean, it's just, that says something more about the person who watched it, I think, than actually what the film is trying to say itself, right?
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm just trying to think of what other ways I can be casually dismissive about the genuine feelings and concerns about cultural and humanitarian representation of Wrong Turn in the presence of the guy who is super involved in like Appalachian filmmaking and everything, before he lunges onto the screen to stab me because I've reverted to talking about how good representation Logan Lucky has. No, but we
are a very poor representation of just like horror movie podcast guys. I mean, we're as about as stereotypical as it gets. So
yeah, I'm not even how I normally look. I'm deformed currently because I don't. No, but but yeah, similar to the characters in Rock Turn. I am deformed. No, but we talked about it pretty lengthily in our Wrong Turn episode. So I definitely recommend that you check that out. Just to kind of get our thoughts on that specific movie and kind of a deeper kind of run at our thoughts on that.
So I think that's it for the questions from the audience, but I've got one for you, man. From the answer to the questioner.
Okay, cool, because I wasn't considerate enough to think of one for you.
Oh, it's okay. I'm quite used to that, if I'm being frank.
Well, you also spring some of these on me, or I was like, well, I didn't think of it.
I'm just fucking around. I don't
like this.
So we've done 100 episodes now, man. That's like a commitment. Lots of people just start all kinds of things and just quit them after 3 or 4. But 100, it's a nice round number. What do you think you've learned about yourself and about horror movies over the course of talking about them for 100+ hours?
I really don't know. I mean, I guess I've learned that I'm able to pick up on certain things and talk about them a little better than I thought I was, because the only podcasting experience that I had before was sports. And so, like, while it's obvious to people who watch a game, if somebody's just reading off of like the box card and everything and reading the stats and just making something up.
Sorry, real quick. The Kansas City guy? Like the guy who calls the touchdowns?
Maybe.
Well, just imagine if like he, instead of like his big voice, he goes, "Hey, touchdown for Kansas City!" Like he does that every single time. Imagine if he just went, Kansas City, touchdown. Like, yeah, obviously, right? Like,
I mean, that's kind of what Ronald Reagan's first job was, fun fact.
I thought it was
he was a sports crier. Basically.
Sports crier? Like a town crier kind of thing?
He would like get like information about the Dodgers while they were playing, and he had like an audio track that he would play, and he'd be like, the Dodgers like a hit by Buster Busterson gets a single for the Dodgers and a man on third scores. Our boys are only down 12 to the Pirates.
One misplaced line drive would have changed history there, huh?
My dad was a liberal, believe it or not. It's very easy to like, get by without like actually watching something with sports, even though some people will kind of catch on. It's a lot harder to do that with movies. And I think also doing that while writing in tandem with Letterboxd, I know this sounds kind of normie of me, but I did also used to very briefly do like a film review blog. I made an attempt at that, but I think it just kind of
briefly. That was like a multi-year project, man.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't do it anymore. But like,
I don't suck on my mama's titties anymore. Sometimes we give up on the things we used to enjoy.
Or do we?
I don't know if I strictly enjoyed it. It was a naturalistic instinct. It's the infantile latching.
No, but I think a lot of these gave me kind of.
I can't control myself. I really can't.
You really can't. I think these gave me kind of like that creative outlet to be able to like not only express myself that way, but also like kind of made me feel, a little bit smarter. I say as I ramble on.
Yeah, you're good, man.
I said that I hadn't thought about it, but you know what? After hearing yours, I'm curious because I had some level of experience. You never did. And again, this was your idea. What have you kind of learned?
This is probably extraordinarily obvious to everyone out there. I've got pretty severe ADHD. So pretty much my interior life is just a constant nonstop monologue. So really podcasting in a lot of respects, you got to learn how to reference things and bounce off of people and whatnot. But it kind of was just a regurgitation of what's going on upstairs. I spent a lot of time talking to people in bars, just chatting up strangers, whatever. So in some senses, this was just kind of putting a mic in front of me for something I had been doing a long time. Just some differences. Like this is a little more played up, but less so than you might imagine, if I'm being frank. Big thing I would say, though, is that you really got to love something if you're going to do it for a long time. You're going to do it purportedly well, right? Like, I love fucking horror movies. It's really one of the things that brings me joy in my life. It brings me escapism in my life. It brings me, in certain cases, needed context in which to kind of examine other things I've had to deal with, right? I'm not going to tell you that Friday the 13th stopped me from having existential dread. That ain't the case, okay? But like, it gives you an outlet. It gives you something. And it's been a lot of fun just taking something I was passionate about already and just sort of being able to more pinpoint it and bullet it out there for whoever it is that might want to hear it. So it's been great. Yeah, and I really like doing it. If I hated podcasting, but I just was trying to make $1 million or just get so big that the president will come on, that is actually a possibility now, I guess. I'm pretty sure we would have quit forever ago, but we love doing it, so we're going to keep it up, at least for now. You have at least 105 episodes because we have a couple in the can.
They say that idle hands are the devil's playthings, and that's why I have to hold the microphone with two. Yeah, so our podcast, Head on a Stick.
All right, that was it, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously 100 episodes, hopefully 100 more to go, assuming the event hasn't happened by this point. But yeah, I don't know exactly.
Please do not have the FBI knocking on my door asking if we're going to do an event. Are you kidding me?
I've been watching some disaster movies lately.
Okay, sure.
So, no, but yeah, you can follow us on Twitter at Head on a Stick Pod. We post mostly stuff on there for the Head Pod, but we also have a side podcast, Doc on a Stick, which we didn't really talk about on this, but you should go listen to that as well.
Real life is more horrifying than films.
Yeah, so that goes on the same Twitter. Both of these have independent Instagram pages. Doc on a Stick Podcast, all one word. Head on a Stick Pod, alternating words with underscores between each of them. Like, follow, share, subscribe. And I normally don't pimp it out on the podcast itself, but you can follow me on Letterboxd at Aaron Radcliffe, all one word.
My comics doing all right. Head on a Stick Comics should be out like in a month, maybe. I've been saying that for a while, but like we're out in the home stretch here, so hopefully.
Yeah, and just real quick.
Well, I think we're releasing this on Thursday before the 100th episode. That was kind of my plan.
So we're recording this before we've decided exactly when we're releasing it.
Well, we can go ahead and say what the episode is, right?
Yeah, if depending on when it's released, or if you're watching this as a later date, go listen to episode 100 where we did The Ghost and Mr. Chicken.
Okay, so why did we pick that one? It's because this is my view on it. There really was not going to be a horror film that we could pick for its metrics in horror that would be adequate for that 100th episode, right? I mean, we could just do like a big famous horror movie, but what does that really say about the podcast itself? Now, what the fuck does The Ghost Mr. Chicken say about the podcast? Well, it stars Don Knotts. Don Knotts is, born and raised in Morgantown, West Virginia, where we've recorded every single episode. So I figured we'd do a little bit of a love letter to Morgantown, just kind of as a...
Andy, there's a ghost. What are we going to do, Andy?
C-.
I don't know. But no, but seriously, yeah, go check out that episode if you haven't yet, or if this comes out before then wait a day, you impatient ones. No, but seriously, thank you all seriously for like listening for like the past 100 episode. Thanks to Boggess for not only helping out with this episode, aka the disembodied voice of Vincent Orlock Prince or Price, thanks, but also for showing up on the episodes he's been on along with his co-host Tristan. Thanks to Grayson for being on and helping out with some social media stuff as well. And then, of course, obviously, everybody who sent in questions, both casual listeners, longtime listeners, new listeners.
Hey, if you live to be 100, you get a little over 800,000 hours in your life. So thank you for giving me one of those. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Meet Your Double Feature. Those guys recently started listening to them. They have a really good show. They sent in a question. They asked our favorite episode, so thank you guys. Hopefully here within the next couple episodes, I'll be able to have an answer for what my favorite of theirs is. But yeah, this was fun. Hopefully the next 100 will be just as fun, and hopefully we'll be like $100 richer by that point.
That means my bank account would say $84.